Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My dear brothers and sisters, today's recording is going to be about the deceptions of the thoughts. A lot of deceptions of the thoughts are hidden in it, which we cannot see. And thoughts are such a big thing. If we are able to think correctly, our life would become manifold better in every way. But unfortunately, if shaitan enters the thoughts and he makes you do what he wants, which will result in incorrect thinking and incorrect understanding of all matters, and to what extent will we fall, we cannot comprehend that. A lot of bad decisions in life and how our life becomes miserable comes from incorrect thinking, and they are a byproduct of wrong thoughts. Once the shaitan, the nafs, the nafs, shaitan and the khwahish have entered the root of thoughts, I cannot possibly express to what extent will it mislead you. Wrong thoughts will come up, incorrect understandings will happen, and these thoughts will enter inside you and completely distort your thinking process. As a result, it will be easy for you to be deceived, it will be easy for you to be made foolish, and as a result, severe consequences will also happen. Wrong thoughts easily enter and make you forget subjects of priority and get you focused towards subjects of non-priority. The impact of the senses is often taken, and what the person will think after that, it is beyond our comprehension, as he will think whatever he wants. All diseases, migraines and headaches and the burden on the head, blood pressure, all of these things happen through thoughts. They come in from the thought process, and it is a result of poor thinking, and it is a result of incorrect thoughts entering you. Wrong decisions is also thought based. When we begin to see others' flaws and shortcomings, this too comes from thinking. Shaitan has a big impact on your thoughts. Suicidal tendencies in people comes from the thoughts. The secret of the heart, alhamdulillah, is a big guidance in your thought process. If we take guidance from it, inshallah, you will receive divine guidance which will help you think correctly, and inshallah the wrong tendencies will start to go away. Thoughts stop the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They create obstructions in the rahmah. What we fail to understand is, by thinking too much, we forget that there is rahmah of Allah. My grandmother used to say this to my father, that, "Oh, dear son, why do you think so much? Above you, there is Allah." Excessive thoughts create this obstruction in the rahmah from Allah. If the heart, when one stops to think excessively, then the nur can be seen of the heart. When you look at kids, they don't. When you look at a small child who is 3 months or 6 months, they cannot think at all, and because of that, their hearts are pure, and they attract the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When they sleep, they go into deep sleep, and they are usually around, or always rather around, the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Positive thoughts will make your life beautiful. Negative thoughts will make your life a living hell. The best thought is to not have thoughts. And this is something you have to practice when you're trying to sleep. When you're about to go to sleep, block off all thoughts. And then this will help you enter into a deeper sleep. Your thoughts should not touch anything. Some of the biggest sins and ghafla and fights, crimes, oppression, all of these things come from thoughts. Jahiliya, or ignorance, or forgetfulness, carelessness, all of these things come from thoughts. These things are hidden in your thoughts. And man wastes a lot of time. Islam says, Sami'ana atana. It says that listen and hear. Listen and follow. But if you end up thinking too much, there will be a lot of work pending. Wrong decisions will happen and major blunders in life will happen, and this is a result of poor thought. Because one cannot think correctly unless he has received enough ilm and tarbiyah. Without that, blunders will happen and wrong decisions will be taken. The path that leads you to get astray and the wrong path again comes from the ways we think. If you look at the role of thinking in Islam, it is definitely there at an intellectual level. But Islam does not have a lot of role in useless thinking or thinking in general. We have the Quran, we have the Sunnah, we have our mashaykhs who will tell us as we are supposed to do, and we must do that. Kids, if they listen to their parents and the teachers, their life will get better. They don't have to involve a lot of their own thoughts. Unproductive thoughts cause a big hindrance in quality performance. Unfortunately, because of that, the best amal or the good amal cannot come. If you look at Olympians, they strictly perform and they think less, which is why they're able to do the great feats they're able to. Thoughts will make you lose your sleep as well. And just like a driver, if he's busy in thinking, he will cause an accident. Big diseases like insomnia, blood pressure, kidney issues, thyroid, all are thoughts involved. Some of the biggest sins also come in from your thoughts. Unfortunately, many cannot think well. But if you look at the performers, even if you look at laborers who end up doing more work than thinking, they end up doing so much of work. So become performers. We must all become performers. May Allah make us that. Now, you have to understand that your thoughts are a big enemy because they oppose you from doing amal. People cannot sleep because of that. Constantly there's something that comes out from the memory and that disturbs your sleep, and often a person is busy thinking and he is busy talking as well, and there's a big burden on the mind. But the worst of the thoughts are those which keep you unconcerned about the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and makes you forget the consequences. This is the most difficult of thoughts, to forget the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to forget the consequences. This is a big issue. And therefore, we have repeatedly said in our previous lectures that this is a big problem. If you are blessed, or if we are blessed with the purest of deen, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put the best of thinking in your heart and your mind. And this is a big ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a big blessing. And people of deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses them with this. The pious are blessed with this. The Sahaba were blessed with such beautiful thinking because they were surrounded by the Quran, by the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and they had the best of thoughts available. They had such beautiful thoughts. Now, what should we do? I say, make mashwara and give yourself to a pious person of Allah, somebody of deen, and give your heart's rope to that person. When he says, or the reins of your heart must be given to that person. If he asks you to go to the left, you go to the left. If he asks you to go to the right, go to the right. If he asks you to stop, you stop. If he asks you to go, go. Just like the rein of the horse. And kids need this too. When we reach the qalb, there will be beautiful guidance which will happen. And you will understand a lot of things. But still, you must do mashwara. Imagine if you were about to do something and you need mashwara, and you take advice from other people. You will have 10 different opinions. But from that, you'll be able to select the right one, inshallah. It's like having khair or good or glad tidings kept somewhere, and when you do mashwara, that comes to you. And then you're able to pick up the best. If you don't do that, shaitan will enter your thought and make you decide the wrong way. Which is why it's very important to have a counsel, to have people who you can take mashwara from, and you do that so that you're able to bring it, so that the best of the decisions come as a result of that, inshallah. Think correctly does not exist. And one of our logos had a saying. It said that learn wisely, think correctly, and act perfectly. Now, acting perfectly is possible. Learning wisely is also possible. But think correctly it's not that easy. Some of the most educated people in Europe, America, and the Western counterparts, you have the most educated people. And when you contrast that with the Sahaba, they were not that educated. But the thoughts of the Sahaba were perfect. So you have to understand, we all have to understand that shaitan enters the thoughts, and which is why, and this is something that my father has repeatedly seen, which is why he's been able to write so much, and this has become a big subject, that shaitan enters your thoughts and he deceives you, and right thinking is a big ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilm has to be gathered. You must make mashwara. You must listen to your elders. You must listen to your parents, and then inshallah thinking correctly might come. We request you to please go to darulqulub.com and read a few articles. Inshallah, you will receive guidance there. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.